Dear colleagues, I'd like to start my topic with the. Yes, you're right. The comment how yesterday by Moscow Times was celebration of Ukraine Independence Day, which have coincides with the 6 months Russian invasion into Ukraine. Certainly, right now, this is Russian officials named about the special military, special war operation, but we will smoothly the first part of my topic. Chief of the Arbatska Square, Sergei Shoigu, explained about how the Z forces have a slow movement in the Ukraine. It is the problem with the suffering of the civilian people. Civilian population, of course, civilian population have first defense, first safety, and first saving. According to the Union Nation, the preliminary data that Ukraine side has been lost more than 12,000 people of civilian. And certainly Ukraine lost also the 10 million refugees. Refugees. So one of the journalists asked Polish Prime Minister Paweł Morawiecki about why you passed Ukraine refugees and stopped the Iraq's people. He explained that the migrants and refugees, this is a different story. So, let's continue to the Ukraine. And totally, according to the Russian forces, Russian propaganda, that forces took territory of Nikolaevsk Oblast, the square 12 square kilometers. But about the Antonovsky Bridge propaganda and interest. Jesus. And during the 6 months, the very hard, heavy battles with a very costly and battles, Ukraine defense and Russian Z forces with the Donetsk and Lugansk militias. The very big military experience in the information of the Russian special media. So it's very interesting that the tanks is not very good, is not very strong, is not very necessary weapon in the Ukraine battles due to the anti-tank means from the infantry. And certainly one tank rather than 72 T-72 more expensive than the one Javelin. So sure that tank at 73 Russian Z forces up applies in modernization form, and certainly that forces tested tank T-90 in the modern new series, and afraid tested the tank T-14. I think this is dangerous for the coverage of the Ukraine forces. The first samples of the new tanks, and totally it's very expensive for the Russian tank industry. And the Russian tank industry went another way. They modernization T-72 with some means, some increment from the T-14 Armat. So, but new jet fighters of the fifth generation Russian jet forces is applying in the Ukraine. Also, said Shoigu, the hyper rockets, hypersonic rockets under the name Kinzhal. So three times he said. So in this background and very big significant success Ukraine investigation in the Crimea. Advanced and help to the White House to accept the solution of the big military aid in the sum of the more than 3 billion, which will be supplies during the some months. According to the Pentagon experts, former generals with the Iraq's Afghani experiences, Ukraine have 25 Hammers and 15 Leopards, and it's very effective weapon as and so I said Boris Johnson anti-tank means from the UK, which the country more than another countries supplies weapon and money and another humanitarian aid to Ukraine. So UK supplies about 7,000 anti-tanks means rockets and another special I must to note the anti-air means first, and I'd like very interesting the anti air rocket under the name Starstreaks. And totally so the anti air means or the infantry in infantry very effective also weapon in the tactical situation, and certainly the plan Pentagon to the supplies to Ukraine jet fighters, for example, F-16s which use air industries productive more than 4.6 thousand things. Very impressive. Uh, very impressive. So, certainly, if Ukraine government could be have money, they I think buy it fighters in the market. Oh, Jesus. So and it's very interesting. One day, West Media talked about the necessary to the artillery system for Ukraine with a range more than range have the enemy. So the working Boeing and Norwegian film Noma, the super quick and very big range artillery shell is very interesting due to that this system have a reactive engine. So the range from the usual gun with the caliber 155 millimeters. This is a shell will be have a range about 150 kilometers. So this is very interesting due to the usual artillery shell from this gun that cannot have a range only 30 kilometers. And so this is a very dangerous for the counter battery struggle. And the second, I'd like to note the rocket anti-radar system. So this is a rocket find the radar system and strike of this radar. If the radar turn off, this is a rocket by the memory find and hit over this radar. So this is rocket by the jet fire carrier will be very dangerous in the perspective supplies into the Ukraine. So for the second part of my topic, I'd like to tell about the post-Soviet space. The Asian country have a biggest foreign policy. So Turkmenistan, who announced it as a neutral foreign policy, have a summit with the Arabian and African countries. Countries have cotton, oil, and especially natural gas. Kazakhstan, the situation in this situation have a biggest, largest country who have biggest ground ground borderline in comparison to China, but right now with Finland have about the more the mm, more the ground borderline in comparison to the Ukraine. Yeah, Jesus. And so the contact Jabal Qasim Tokayev with Recep Tayyip Erdogan and mm, Recep Tayyip Erdogan and with the, and Ilham Aliyev will advance it Kazakhstan into the south direction. And Kazakhstan and all Kazakhstani raw materials is very interesting, especially the next harvest. Next harvest very interesting for the market. The second part of my topic, I'd like to tell some economical note to that how the Russian leader of Russian Prime Minister, chairman of the government, Mikhail Mishustin, told about the budget of the first quarter of this year. According to this report, small information published at RBC, during the first quarter, Russian Federation have a profit budget and spend money and have income of a budget. The approximately the data last year. It's very interesting data. It's not discuss about it, but we have not only the Mishustin, the tricky, not tricky, experience, have experience in the figures, to use figures, and certainly before the autumn session of the State Duma, it's very nice figures for the leaders of the political party. Actually, it's in the $12 trillion rubles. Sorry, 12 trillion rubles spent a Russian government in the budget during the first two quarters of this year. Show the inflation. So therefore, the Russian budget could spend money about the 15%. Also, the Russian budget have not more money. We must to the calculate less than the half a year in comparison half a year 2021, and this with the inflation. And so certainly the currency rate right now government have not a very big interest. This is very this is horror. According to the calculation I brought up in my tweet today, also don't have information about the how reserve system can to the cover of the foreign trade. It's very it's not surprisingly that the China have biggest currency reserve, but very amazing how the Brazil have a second place, and as a China came to the cover, um, of own own input during the 1 year, 12 months. It's very important for the nearest presidential election, where the Jair Bolsonaro and Da Silva have a big presidential race in this campaign. So thank you. Maybe the last, oh Jesus, and the last, in conclusion of my topic today, all leaders of the Europe, also United States and Canada, celebration Ukraine, and rather than Olaf Scholz, with the end of celebration, told in Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. So thank you. Bye.